Welcome to Together at GRCC. I'm your host, Ryan Nausieda, and today we are talking to someone who went to Aquinas for her bachelor's degree and then Grand Valley State University for her master's degree. When she started here in 1996, she was the Assistant Director of Financial Aid, and currently she's the Director of Enrollment Services. Today we will be talking to Lori Cook. Hi, Lori. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Ryan?
Good. So tell me a little bit about your role. And as I've said to a couple people before, a typical day is not a normal thing, but what does a normal day look like for you?
Sure. So I oversee the RJF services, which was formerly the Enrollment Center, which sort of encompasses a lot, all of everything, right? And kind of folded into that too is admissions. And then we have orientation, college success, all those sort of onboarding where the student first enters our college. The day really can be, it's never the same, right?
Yeah.
One way I describe it too is a lot of students touch a lot of the offices, but 100% of the students come through our office.
Absolutely. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Everyone has to apply. Everyone has to do something, either turn something in, minimally that application. Sometimes there's follow-up. You may have to do orientation, all other things associated with that, and it can vary from person to person. And you just never know what a day is going to bring. Certain times of the year, certainly flow traffic in differently. Right now, I would say it's a nice little lull from the fall rush start, and then we'll start hitting winter enrollment pretty hard too.
Okay.
So it's sort of like and everything happens in our area, I guess, too. Just to maybe expand a little bit on the Enrollment Center, that was the old name. Now it's RJF Services. And sometimes what does that mean? What do you do? And so we do even help not only everyone in the door, but even through picking out your classes and enrolling and how do you get your books and where do I go get my radar card? And I got lost in the parking ramp. What do I do? And so that's why the days, you just never know.
Yeah. Any question could come your way.
Any question. Yeah. Challenging for training, too, because sometimes, you have to kind of train for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when I send out emails to students, a lot of times students will email back that has nothing to do with the email. It's a question they might have about the bookstore or where's my class? How do I find these particular things?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And
having answers to everything.
100%. Because some of that, right, we would just feel that doesn't, we don't have to say, call the bookstore for that. We can answer what we can. And so that's sort of that one-stop shop philosophy that was around the original Enrollment Center.
Yeah. So what do you find most rewarding about your role?
I would say helping the students that thought they could never go to college, never thought that was part of their future, or they're just maybe frustrated and lost, and just being able to get everything done in one stop by really great staff and staff outside my area too, right? There's amazing people that work in RJF services that will help anybody that comes in there. And I think the most common thing we hear, even if they did have some snags or it went as smooth as possible, was everyone is so nice, everyone is so helpful. Everyone is glad that I was here. And then seeing them get in classes, and then obviously if you're lucky enough to follow their journey, and we see some of them cross the stage, or we'll get a nice note they transferred. I had a kid the other day, transferred to Michigan State. That was his dream.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was. And he had a rocky first semester here. He wasn't sure if he made the right choice for him. Ended up just thriving here. Got into U of, or did I say U of M was Michigan State? And I'm U of M. I messed that up. Michigan State. But living in the dorms there, and it's just been just a great story.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I know I love seeing the progression from the beginning to the end, and then going to graduation and seeing people that you worked with from the beginning is always very powerful.
It is. They're so happy, and seeing families that the joy of a lot of times the first time in their family to achieve whatever level of education, and they'll have teams of 20 there with them just to celebrate, and it's amazing.
That is. What are the main goals of your department?
Our main goals are to really get the student into classes, ultimately to get them into classes, get them in through the admissions process as smooth as possible. We have 9 different applications, which may sound daunting, but we try to...
They're all for a specific purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the goal of that was to align people on the right pathway. So if you did this application and maybe you're this type of student, because you don't need to do orientation or something like that. But we're constantly looking at barriers. That's probably our biggest goal, is where are students getting hung up and why, and is it because of an institutional policy maybe we need to look at? Is it because of a process? Is there a technology solution that we need to have that could help us? So that's really kind of where we spend a lot of our time, because our goal is to, again, make that as smooth as possible to ultimately get them in the seat and get them in class and then hand them off to our amazing faculty.
Yeah, amazing. So what initiatives do you have in place that help prospective students navigate the application and enrollment processes?
We have mainly staff, I would say. That's probably our biggest asset there to help students through that. And what we do is partner with, we have Promise-owned staff, we have our recruiters, some navigators that help us as well, to either go out to the high school and have an application day where everyone applies who's coming to GRCC, and we're there to help them do that, or push out information through, we have a CRM system that we're updating currently. But
I know somebody that's involved
exactly,
in that.
I think you know a lot about that. And obviously we push all our messaging out through that right now. And our related software, which is our texting software, Mongoose. Students do seem to, obviously like that in-person help, especially if we're going to their high schools and things like that. But we have a lot of non-traditional students that we help as well. And, that can be a mixed bag. Some want help over the phone. And we have admission specialist appointments where we really, that's where our strength is there to either meet them in person or virtually or however they like. But a lot of people, and I'm probably in this camp, don't necessarily like a phone call. Like via text is how they like to communicate and solve
I'm that
things.
way.
Yeah. And you've seen the texting threads because you're, again, the mastermind behind that software. And you can see those long threads. But, boy, you can solve a lot from financial aid to how to enroll in classes, set up their account.
I know I've walked students through the entire enrollment process just through texting. So I think a lot of people could see texting as a one-way communication method, but it is interesting how connected you can feel to a student after you get them through the entire process, and it was all through text. And they're usually very thankful.
They love it.
I think, too, is like they could be working, or we know high school students are so busy that like just being able to have the one little nudge to move them forward, one little piece.
Yeah, they love it. And they can get back to it later too, right? Because it kind of stays on their phone. And I'm like, I have that text message I never responded to. And as you know, we'll get responses like in the middle of the night, but this is a really cool system where we can just answer first thing in the morning. And
could you talk a little bit about some of the events that you hold that help promote enrollment?
Sure. Our big events are a fall open house and a spring open house, and we do those on main campus and the Lakeshore campus. One is sort of designed to be more exploratory. We certainly do focus on usually high school seniors. So they're starting their senior year, applying for the following fall semester. Again, they are just usually exploring. And the spring one is more action-oriented, so we do try to put some like mission and goals to these events with clear outcomes of what we're doing. So the spring one typically is a little bit busier because we're also like, hey, you can accomplish all these tasks to get ready for the following semester. Where in the fall, they're usually just kind of talking to departments, trying to get some ideas of what they want to study. But we'll have, we've had anywhere from 300 to 1,000 people at these events. Lakeshore a little bit smaller, but good turnout. Still a lot of interest in these events. I still get a lot of calls from other admissions offices, in fact, who we talk a lot about the effectiveness of these events and, should we still be doing them? And we still have found them to be quite effective, to the point where whole families will come out too. And maybe younger sister or brother is looking into it, and mom and dad might want to come back to school.
Yeah, I know going to the event, it is fun to see, little kids and parents and all the different people. Yeah.
On a college campus.
Do you think the waffle bar helps?
The waffle bar helps a lot. And Ryan has cracked the code on the interesting subject lines. So I think our last one, when you did that, the waffle bar, we ticked up like 100 RSVP. And we still are doing the waffle bar.
That's great.
I'm trying to think of some other events we do. We also do 2 professional breakfasts where we invite high school counselors, professionals, anyone that meets and talks to students at the high school, whoever they feel fit to come, to an informational session, both again, main campus and Lakeshore. And a really nice way to get connected because then they hear firsthand about maybe a new program we have, maybe a process that has changed, anything like that. And they can also see the facilities firsthand. So when they're talking to students, they really feel like they know what they're talking about. We've been doing those for about 15 years now, and I find those to be highly effective and really build relationships with those high school partners.
That's and those are partnerships that are so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Having them talk about college and us, hopefully, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really our biggest champion out there. They really try to get all students to come to us. The last big event I would say would be the student block party. That's really tied to orientation as well and new student onboarding. That's more welcoming our new students to campus. But it's a really big event, which is why I mention it. Students really, really like it. We have definitely over usually 1,000 in attendance to that. And they're so excited to come to campus. They're so excited to talk to faculty, and they're starting classes on the following Monday. Yeah. So they can get their books and last minute things. And you've worked it. It's a really fun day.
That is great. How about Ready, Set, and Roll events? I know when I first started, it seemed like Ready, Set, and Roll events were very, very important. But I think with all of the changes and the improvements with the enrollment center and just the way it runs, I think people know that they can just come anytime and get these things done. But do you think there's still a benefit to having these events? And do you think they help propel it forward a little bit?
I do a little bit. I think you said that really well. At one point, there was something new that we were doing. They were called ducks in a row at one point. If you remember that, we actually handed out rubber ducks.
That's funny.
And, served them food and things like that. And they were very well attended. The pandemic did really do, I want to say maybe a reevaluation of that, because they did dwindle after that and they really changed. And what we have found after that is really kind of to what you said is there's still interest in them. It still gives them that nudge. And again, like the event is something they could do at any time. It's just kind of nudging them to do that. The in-person really is sort of non-existent. They're not that interested in that. But virtually, those have still been pretty successful. Yeah. And again, it's just giving them the nudge and having staff block time to put all efforts towards that. What we kind of have found is they like their services to get done virtually. So all those to-do tasks and things like that, they like the virtual options. When it comes to going to classes, that's where it's mixed. Sometimes they want in person, sometimes they want hybrid, online.
Yeah. Could you go over the structure of your department in terms of, I know Selena, just for example, Selena, I know she does recruitment, but she also does international admissions.
So if I break down to admissions, we have an associate director who's Omar Gonzalez, who sort of oversees that department. There is our recruiter, who also is our international PDSO. So all the F1 and I-20 documents that students have to do to come here. There's a lot of misconceptions around international, too, on who is actually an international student, and it is a student on an F1 visa. Okay. So, a student who's on refugee asylum status, or maybe obviously are not a citizen, not necessarily are they an international student.
Okay.
And we have around 80 students right now, which is about right for our size. And then we have a recruiter at the Lakeshore campus. And obviously they handle the Ottawa County and the schools out there and supporting the Lakeshore campus. So that's the admissions team. Okay. But they do collaborate tightly with RJF Services, who Christy Welling oversees that area. And then we have several admission specialists, a team of them that really are the train, I think, behind the what do I say, the train behind the institution. They're chugging everything along. Did not say that right. But loading all the applications that we get. I mean, we get 20,000 applications to the college. And then think of all
that is overwhelming and amazing at the same time. I know.
And then the paperwork that goes with that, a lot of it's electronically, but one student might have to turn in 4 different things. And so that's 40,000 pieces of paper, coming in, and or you have to tag it and organize it and link it, and all the processes that run behind the scenes are all run by that whole team of people. And then we have Erica Manning, who's really leading up sort of the technology part of that.
I work very closely with
I
her.
know you do.
In terms of trends in enrollment, do you talk to other directors at other schools, and what are you seeing for the future?
We do. We have an admissions directors group that we meet in person twice a year, and then we have monthly meetings. One nice thing out of the pandemic is we used to just sort of communicate via an email group, but what we formed during the what the heck are we all doing and how are we going to admit our students during the pandemic, we started this monthly meeting and we've just continued it, so that's been nice. But we all see different trends. They're all community colleges, and obviously there's some very small ones in there, from like Bay College to a large community college like us. Mm-hmm. So not all our experiences are exactly the same, but we're all seeing different trends and obviously declining enrollment pretty much for all of us. If there's any positive blips that we've seen, certainly it's been a school that might be by a higher population that Reconnect may be affected. Oh, yeah. Or one of the schools had a large international population due to a wave of students from a certain country that had just landed in their part of Michigan and went to their school. So, that all made sense. Or a certain program that they are offering that none of the rest of us are offering. But outside of that, pretty much size-wise, we're all in the same boat. And, birth rates are declining. Graduation rates are declining. The next 4 or 5 years will definitely continue to be a pretty sharp decline. And so we'll see. We're all kind of fighting for the same students, too.
I know.
We have good discussions, too, about there used to be what we used to call a gentleman's agreement. Where we stayed out of each other's territories to the point where presidents would even get calls back in the day. That's how old I am. I've been here so long. Hey, someone was in our territory doing this work. That no longer exists, and mainly because of online learning, too. We're all fighting for the same students, and whoever has the best programs are out there marketing.
Absolutely. Are there any new projects or any long-term goals that you...
Obviously, enrollment and declining enrollment is our main concern, and how we can battle that. A big project, though, associated with that, which you are well aware of, is our CRM. It does handle all our communication plans. Houses our application to the college, which again is 9 different applications. So we are in the middle of getting a new one. Ours is getting sunsetted by the company that owns it. That's a pretty large project and vitally important to, everything.
Yeah. Events and communicating with students.
Exactly. All our for our listeners, all our orientations are in there, sessions, exactly. So it's going to be vital that gets set up quickly and efficiently, and we can start running with it right away. So that's probably the biggest thing on our plates probably in the next 9 months.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming in. Is there anything that you would like to add that we haven't talked about?
I don't know. I was joking that, I'm fast. I have a reputation for running quick meetings and getting maybe to the point too quickly. So
no, you did great.
I hope I answered everything.
I really appreciate you, and you're doing such great work on this campus. It's pretty amazing to see how much you all are able to get done in such a positive environment too.
It's such a great team, really. The people I work with are just really, really good people who really believe in helping students, and you have been part of that team and still are. Yeah. And I think just really fortunate that way.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Together, we got this.